どうにか切り抜けたみてえだな。
いや。Man, that guy can sure laugh when he wants to. Looks like Clover and Lotus are totally out of energy. Snake is shaking his head wearily. I just want to take a nap, but...
Akane! Akane! Kikoru ka, Akane?
I want to tell her we made it. I want to tell her how good I feel. Oh, but I want to know that she made it too. I don't know that yet. But... nothing. Not nearly as crazy on this side, because we're not yelling at 5 people trying to get them to go through the door. The door opened. Standing in front of it was my brother.
Akane!
I cried his name, even though my voice was almost gone from screaming, and leapt into his arms.
Akane!
I buried my face in his chest and cried again. I cried and cried and cried. The steady thump of his heart in my ear made me feel like I was home. Its beat was almost like a lullaby. I wrapped my hands around him as far as they would go and held him as tight as I could. Just to be there felt like a miracle. I hadn't felt the warmth of another human body in what had seemed like an eternity. I just want to stay there in his arms forever. But I couldn't. The moment I'd passed through the door, my bracelets had begun the countdown to death. I leapt away from him and looked around. The door had already closed. I spotted the dead only a short distance away. It took me only a moment to get to and scan all the bracelets. I left the ones Hongo had dropped on the scanner panel. That was it. I took a deep breath and looked around again. The huge detective who'd recalled 7 in 9 years and Snake, the blind boy, were looking at me. They seemed to have been utterly stunned by my sudden appearance. Their eyes were wide and their mouths hung open.
とにかく行こう。本郷のやつが追ってくるかもしれない。
Aoi was right. It was time we got moving. The mention of Hongo seemed to jar 7 and Snake out of their surprise, and they nodded. We took off running, up the spiraling stairs, to freedom. Time for more running. But if they can get us out of here, no wonder we're running so hard. My heart's beating so hard I can barely hear. God, I can't wait to breathe real air again. Huh? Is 7 talking?
なあ、Junpei、一つ聞きたいことがあるんだがいいか。
なんだ。
さっきの9の扉の件についてだ。あれ、なんで開いたんだ。
そうよね。私たちは5人全員でレッドの2章を行った。2+4+5+7+8 は26。だから数字根は8になるはず。なのにどうして9の扉が開いたのかしら。
意外だな、ヤシロ。お前ならとっくに気づいてると思ってたんだが。
お？
え？どうして？
だって進数について教えてくれたのはお前じゃないか。
進数？
そうだ。2進数で使われる数字は何と何だ。
0と1ね。
10進数だわ。
0から9までだろ。
じゃあ16進数だとどうなる？
0から F までになるわ。 Q の次は A になってさらに BCDEF と続いていく。
そうだな。つまり16進数の A は10進数の10を表していることになる。 B は11、 C は12、 D は13。
それが一体何だってんだ。
だからそういうことだよ。これをずっと先まで続けていったらどうなる。ただし16進数ではなく27進数で考えてほしい。
27進数
そうだ。
だったら16になっても桁は上がらないから、そのまま順番に一つずつ数を増やしていけばいいってことになるわ。 E は14、 F は15、 G は16。
H は17、 I は18、 J は19、
K は20、 L は21、 M は22。
It's hilarious that they're doing all this calculation while they're running so hard right now.
N は23、 O は24、 B は25。
じゃあその次は
Q は
26。
ってことは
Digital root of 8.
あの扉に書かれていたのは数字の9ではなく
アルファベットの9だったってことか。
I'm glad we got out, but that's bullshit.
まあそういうことだ。別の言い方をすると10進数の9ではなく27進数の9だったとも言えるけどな。
Time for more running. God, my thighs are killing me. I swear, any moment now, I'm gonna tear a muscle. I feel like every single cell of my body is dying for air. Damn, every breath I take is a chore now. I feel like my lungs are gonna burst. Maybe just a short rest. No, can't stop. Don't have time. Come on, legs. There can't be any more of these stairs left. Let's run! Run! Like a bullet down a rifled barrel. Like a tornado cutting through a sea of clouds. I feel like we're running along the back of a giant coiled dragon. Finally. Do we take the submarine out now or what? Jesus, I can barely breathe. No, Junpei, no time to rest. Pull yourself together. You're almost there.
よし開くぞ。
いよいよだね。
頼んだよ純平君。
Sure, you look like a big heavy door. But you're the only thing standing between me and my freedom. Really? But even more important than that, you're the only thing standing between me and Akane. You're gonna open, and you're gonna open now! I felt a hand on my shoulder. It was Aoi's. He gave it a small, reassuring squeeze. I was so happy, I felt like I could melt. My heart was at peace. And not only because my brother and I were back together again. Thanks to the huge detective, all 9 of us who had been kidnapped. We're finally able to escape from the gigantic. On the distant horizon, we could see the faint outline of the ship as it sank. It gave a thunderous roar as it finally slipped between the waves. Its last cry echoed out across the ocean, and then it was gone.
終わったな。
Aoi whispered. It was over. It was finally over. Or was it? Was it really? No, that was wrong. That wasn't it at all. I was sure of it. This wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. This was only a prologue to what would happen in 9 years. Yes! Finally! Air! Ah! Damn, that sun is bright. I can barely see anything. Huh, I gotta admit, this doesn't quite look like... Wait.
嘘だろ
What? What? You have gotta be shitting me.
そんな
No, what now?
まさか。
ここは
Oh. We're in Nevada.
ネバダ砂漠に建造された。
What does that mean? 9 years ago, Akane escaped from the ocean, the real one. But 9 years later, we're here.
模擬実験棟
キュートだったんだ
Sure enough, that's a desert out there, with mountains all around it. Hello there, son. Boy, am I ever glad to see you. I don't think I've ever been so happy to see a sunrise. Huh? Did I just hear something fall? The bracelets. Right, our bracelets. I guess I've never really got a good look at the underside of one of these things. Let's see what's inside you. Just a little electronic chip, like in an ATM card. That's it. There's nothing else. Nothing that even looks like a detonator. There was never a detonator to begin with. Well, the ninth man actually died, right? So there must have been. Or did Zero plan it so that only certain people would die? Figures.
茜
俊平くん
Guess I must be pretty crazy about the girl if I think I'm hearing her voice in the wind. You can't tell me that's it, right? Are you kidding me? Oh my god, I had no idea how much we had left. Cause the last video, where you saw I stopped, I really stopped playing there. This ending part, it was like 10 minutes long. Shit. Well, I have some answers now. We know who Zero is. But I feel like this last little part dropped so many new questions that I don't even know where to begin. Oh, but maybe there's gonna be like an after credits thing here. Maybe I should wait a little bit first. But in the meantime... What the hell happened? The Junpei we know now is connected to the Akane from 9 years ago. Oh, from the glycerin thing. I guess you could tell that maybe there would be some sort of alternate universe thing going on, but time traveling. This is time traveling, man. Seems like 9 years ago, Akane almost died, but she didn't because she was saved by Junpei in the future, who is now in this game because the Akane in the future has set the game up so that her past self can be saved. I guess the mistake began when we thought of Zero as being a killer, the person who wants to kill everybody here. But actually, it's just Akane wanting to save herself. I get the impression that Akane disappearing in and out of existence was because she was teeter-tottering on the brink of existing or not existing, depending on if it was possible still for her past self to be saved. Oh.
大丈夫ですか？
何言ってんだよ。このぐらいへっちゃらさ。
本当に？
ああ。
でも全然そんな風には見えないんですけど。
It was just before the end of elementary school. Junpei and I were sitting next to each other on a small hill, looking down at the town as the sun slowly set.
だったらどんな風に見えるんだよ。
He was half serious and half joking. I thought about it for a minute at first.
そうですね。たこ焼き星人にたこ焼きビームを浴びせられて全身がくまなくたこ焼きみたいになっちゃった人に見えます。
なんだよそれ。
Junpei grinned and... Ow! Ow, 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 ow!
ほら、やっぱり大丈夫じゃないでしょ。無茶するからですよ。5人の中学生を相手に向かっていくなんてどうかしてます。
Oh, Junpei picked a fight with people. Why?
んなこと言ったってしょうがないだろう。あのまま放っておくわけにはいかなかったし。
Look at the Nevada desert go past. For an SUV, this thing has a pretty smooth ride. Sure was nice of someone to leave it for us outside the building, keys in the ignition and gas in the tank. Almost like it was a present, you know? Anyway, we jumped in, and now we're here, screaming across the desert. Lotus is over there in the passenger seat. Snake and Seven and I are all squeezed together into the back seat here. I still can't believe we let her drive.
やっほーい、楽しい。こんな何もないところを突っ走ることができるなんてもう最高。
You let the youngest one drive?
おい、四つ葉。あんまり荒っぽい運転しないでもらえるかな。ちょっと車がふらつくだけで圧死しそうになる。
うるせえ。好きででかくなったわけじゃねえんだよ。我慢しろい。
セブンが運転すればいいじゃないか。
俺は警察官だ。法を犯すわけにはいかねえ。
国際免許持ってないんだってさ。
Do you?
じゃあせめて助手席に。
却下よ。この席は死んでも譲らないわ。それから四つ葉、アクセルも緩めなくていいからね。あの二人、サンタと紫を乗せた車はこの輪立ちの先を走ってるはず。
I was just gonna say.
車が止められてたところのすぐ脇に若いタイヤ痕があったからな。間違いないだろ。
急がないと二人に追いつけなくなっちゃうわ。だから。
了解。
Oh shit! God damn it, she doesn't have to drive so fast! Man, I didn't even think a car like this could go this fast. We're sure throwing up a lot of dust. It was a couple hours after we'd run into the junior high students. They'd been hiding in the bushes on the back of one of the hills, drenching a kitten in gasoline. Oh my god! The moment we saw what they were doing, Junpei ran up to them, furious.
おい、何やってるんだ、やめろ!
Then he jumped on them. He quickly scooped up the kitten and tossed it to me. I caught it and ran for the police station as fast as I could. The policeman and I headed back to the hill. All we found was Junpei, sprawled on the ground with a face covered in big swelling lumps.
途中で逃げられなかったんですか？
He stuck his tongue out through the hole in his mouth, where a tooth had fallen out. Oh my god.
いや、逃げられたよ。
じゃあどうして？
逃げたくなかったんだ。全員ぶっ飛ばしてやらないと 気が済まなかった。
子猫のことが許せなかったから？
それもあるけど、1学期の終業式の件、あいつらの仕業だったみたいなんだ。
それってもしかして？
ああ、例のウサギたちのことだよ。
He plucked some grass from the ground and tossed it into the wind.
小学校の名前聞かれたから答えたんだ。そしたら、あのウサギたちみたいにしてやるよって。俺許せなくてさ。だからそれで。
なあ、いくつかわからないことがあるんだが聞いてもいいか？
Oh, hey, we're on the same boat! Of course, they probably don't know any more than I do.
まずは一宮が本郷源太郎がノナリープロジェクトを企てた動機についてだ。誰か知ってるものは？
んなもん本人に直接聞けばいいだろうが。
Well, yeah, I guess I could. He's still alive?
トランクにいるんだろ彼。
Yeah, he is. Still tied up, I'm assuming, with his mouth taped shut. His eyes just look empty. No emotion. He looks like he'd just given up. I wonder if he even cares what happens to him anymore.
なあ、今の話聞いてたか？
Yeah, go ahead and try to pretend you weren't, you old bastard. Wait, when did we meet up with him? Why is he in the trunk? Oh my god, I'm so lost. I thought he was still with Santa. Let's get that tape off your mouth.
聞いてたんだろ？答えろよ。
You could at least look at me when you talk, man.
私はただ顔が見たかっただけだよ。人間の顔が。形成場にアクセスする能力が手に入ればそれが可能になる。そう思ったんだ。
Oh my god.
他人の頭の中を覗き込むことによってその人物がどんな風に人間の顔を認識しているのか知ることができる。
ただそれだけのために？
簡単に言えばそうだ。もっと哲学的な答えをお望みなら聞かせてやってもいいがね。そもそも人間の意識とは何なのかとか。
I think that's enough out of you, pal. Time for the tape to go back on.
で、二つ目は？
いくつかわからないことがある。そう言ってたわよね。
Well, somebody's a little nosy.
いや、次の質問はお前らには関係のないことなんだ。セブン、お前に聞きたい。アリスの件についてだ。
That was never resolved.
あれって結局何だったんだ？
何って言われてもな。9年前俺はギガントを脱出してからも本郷の悪事について独自に捜査を進めていた。でいろいろと調べていく間に自然とギガントの歴史についても詳しくなっていき、その中でゴルダイン教のことやアリスのことについて知ったんだ。
答えになってない。俺が知りたいのは常温でも溶けない体を持った少女なんてものが実在するのかどうかだ。
Sounds like Hongo has something to say. Alright, fine. I'll let you talk, but you gotta behave.
なんだ？
アリスなんてものは存在しない。今から9年前、私はボトムデッキの書庫の奥でアリスの棺を見つけた。しかし中に収められていたのはただの植物の根だけだったんだ。調べてみるとそれはナスカの植物マンドラゴラの足であることが分かった。
Isn't that just a goddamn ginseng? What the hell?
さらに抽出した成分からはアルカロイドの一種が。それを元にして 私は麻酔薬マンドレインの開発に成功したのだ。その後我が社の業績は目覚ましく発展し、
Shit, this is gonna go on forever. Tape's going back on, Hongo. The rest of my questions can wait a bit. For now, I think I'll just enjoy the ride.
これやるよ。
The
何です
doll.
かこれ。
そういう人形の純平くんだ。
Junpei pulled something out of his pocket and shoved out his arm toward me. In his hand was a doll made of a yarn small enough to fit his palm.
俊平くん、そういう人形って。
ああ、店員のお姉さんが言ってたんだ。これはフォーユー人形ですってさ。
もしかしてブードゥー人形と間違えてません？
Oh my god. Smooth, Junpei.
見た目からするとブードゥー人形で間違いないと思いますよ。ところでブードゥー人形が何に使われるかは知ってますよね？
じゃあこいつを純平くんって呼ぶのはやめた方がいいかもしれないな。
それよりもどうしたんですかいきなり。
その6月になったら俺たちあんまり会えなくなっちまうだろ。住んでるところの学区違うしさ。それでなんていうか。
わかりました。それじゃあこの人形ジューンって呼ぶのはどうですか？
わかった。だからこれやる。
その言い方なんだかどこかの部族の棟梁みたい。
そう、俺棟梁、これ部族に伝わる伝説のお守り。だからこれお前にやる。俺の代わりだと思え。そうすれば俺たちずっと一緒。
俊平くん、
何か困った時これ握りしめて祈れ。俺いつでもどこでも駆けつける。だからほら持っていけ。
I reached my hand out and picked up the doll gently.
ありがとう。ありがとう、俊平くん。
Before I knew it, I was crying. Tears streamed down my face and fell onto June's tiny yarn body.
私、俊平くんのこと忘れないから。絶対に忘れないから。
Junpei looked straight into my eyes and said just 5 words.
俺もだ。
The sky was a beautiful crimson red as it melted down toward the horizon. The last golden rays of sunlight stretched out across the city and painted themselves across the hills. We sat, bathed in the warm light of evening. Just the two of us, leaning gently against one another, shoulder to shoulder. The sun set, and we still didn't leave. We watched in silence as the darkness deepened, and one by one, the lights of the town began to flicker on. There's still one thing I don't get. Oh, there's more than one thing I don't get. To be honest, it's the biggest mystery, as far as I'm concerned, and also the only one that's really important. It has to do with June and Akane. 9 years ago, she died in the incinerator on the Gigantic. But she's still alive now, as June. But how? Was it because I tapped into the morphic field set and saved her 9 years ago? Alright, let's say that makes some kind of insane sense. If I did that, then... how do I make sense of what Seven remembers? Snake makes sense. He's blind. He couldn't have seen her body anyway. But Seven... he said he was sure he saw it. Does that mean there's some kind of historical discrepancy? Or... wait... maybe that's not it at all. There is one other logical explanation. Was what you told me the truth, Seven? You look... satisfied. No. No way. He couldn't!
ねえ見てあれ誰か道の端に立ってるみたい
You're telling me Seven lied? But how would he know to lie in advance, and what purpose would it serve? Oh my god, I don't get any of this right now.
え
ん
What? Alice? What the hell? The burning gaze of the Nevada sun pounded down on her head. The desert around her rippled with heat. Standing there, on that shimmering plain, was a woman, her hand out and her thumb up. It would not be long before Junpei realized who she was. What?! You're kidding me. You're kidding me. Don't forget your towel. What? Okay, hang on. Ah, and that's the last of our endings. Ah. Everything is, well, mostly everything is done, except for this one. Where do I even begin? Oh, I know where. Somebody mentioned that after I finish the game, if I go back to a puzzle room, something changes. So let's see if we can see any of that. Ah! In that one last room, the last puzzle, we saw that Junpei wasn't in the thing anymore. And now we see that Akane is the one here. But we don't actually have to solve this, right? So I'm getting out of here. Okay, so we're finally done. 999, 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. After 5 different playthroughs. I have way more questions than answers, really. I don't even know where to start. And a lot about this game, they don't like to explicitly say anything, really. Because even though for the other endings, we know that the killer is Ace, aside from the one where it was Clover, they never explicitly said that anywhere. So I don't know, maybe they want you to play it again and figure it all out. All the foreshadowing and all the details and stuff. But the only thing I can think about is how the questions that I had written next to my flowchart, stuff like, hey, why did Snake hear a noise? Like, I'm thinking about that, and I'm guessing it's probably just the pipe breaking while we were in the refrigerator room or something. But other than that, what about the sun key? Come on, man, I spent so much time trying to think of where the sun key came from. Did it come from a pipe from above or what? But no, nothing like that was ever answered. I feel like if I could just sit down here and watch my own playthrough again, I would find at least 20 questions that, even by the end of playing this game, I don't have the answers to. Just the main loop is kind of confusing me a little bit. Junpei was kidnapped to this Nonary game because Jun set it up based off what Junpei saw, what she saw through Junpei's eyes 9 years ago when she was a kid. I'm having some trouble wrapping my head around just this point. Because it almost feels like there's no original, like who the heck actually made it like that then? Is everything a complete replica of the original games then? But now I'm thinking about how we talked with June about the occult stuff so much, and she seemed kind of not happy that I didn't believe in it because, well, in this world it is true. It's true that morphic, genetic, whatever fields exist and they work. I probably have to go back and reconfirm what was actually said here, but I was thinking the whole time that it had to be between a sibling too. Siblings. Very evidently, with Junpei and Akane, it was okay that they weren't like that. I guess rather than being siblings, maybe it's the fact that they have strong feelings for each other, which is kind of like a Japanese anime thing, but whatever. It's interesting that June really ended up being Zero in the end though, because I think in one way, it's pretty standard after you're introduced to all the characters to think that the person that you least expected is the villain. And in this case, it would be June because she's the only person that we know, and she's the childhood friend, the person who we trust the most. But then as the game went on, you get the impression that, oh, okay, well, she seems like a normal girl. Maybe she's not the villain because that would be too obvious of a twist. But then by the end, she actually is the quote-quote villain. And I guess the problem here is really because we have a misconception of what kind of person Zero actually is. We thought that this person is throwing us here for fun, to kill us. But what this person was actually trying to accomplish was revenge on the people who did her wrong years ago, but she didn't seem to want to harm anyone else. Or does she? I don't know, because in some of the endings, not the true ending, we did have a lot of instances of people dying left and right, and even herself. She was killed in the submarine ending. Like, the whole thing is really complicated because at any given point, there is at the minimum 2 people in our group who have the potential to kill. So oh my god, my head hurts. Right, like I said, there's so many questions I have in my head right now that my first instinct is to say a lot of the things that went down in the ending here are complete bullshit. But I also get the impression that, like, almost everything I'm thinking of could probably be explained away if I actually went back and just looked at everything again. Yeah, let's leave it off here for now. Not for now anymore, because this is the end. Let's leave it off here for 999 then. Please tell me lots of things, anything you want to tell me in the comments because, like I said, so many questions. But overall, I enjoyed it a lot. It was really fun, especially my flowchart, which was, oh my god, it was like the most useless thing ever because a lot of the things just couldn't be figured out. I did think that this game was going to be a lot less science fiction-y. Like, the morphogenetic stuff was a bit out of reality. A little bit out of reality. So, I wouldn't say that was bad, but it's not what I was expecting coming in. Like, an easy comparison to think about is to Danganronpa, which I'm sure a lot of you know about because it's those people who recommended 999 to me. And in that game, although there was a lot more anime-ish elements to it, each of the individual murders, though, you could explain everything away logically and without science fiction stuff. So I thought it would be more like that. But it's fine, I still enjoyed it. Yeah, 999. I forgot if I mentioned this in the beginning, but if you weren't aware, 999 is the first in a trilogy of games, and now I'm sure the question is, hey, Welonz, when are you gonna play Virtue's Last Reward, which is the next game? I think I'm gonna give myself like a week break first, maybe, because it might not look like much, but this visual novel games are a little bit high effort for me, not only because of the talking, but because of the editing. Hopefully you haven't noticed too much of it, but I am a terrible, terrible speaker. And since this game is so heavily reliant on reading and stuff, I try my best to edit out when I stutter or mumble or whatever, because I am really horrible at talking. Especially when I'm tired, like, oh my god, you would not believe how many times I fuck up a line sometimes. Anyway, enough of that. Okay, so, yes, I will be playing the next one soon. I think I'm probably going to upload this episode that you're watching right now on Monday, so I will say, come back next Monday. Come back next Monday and you should see Virtue's Last Reward, if nothing has gone wrong. Alright, This was 9 hours, 9 persons, and 9 doors with Welonz. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed playing it, because this one was a real doozy. Whew! I will hopefully see you again very shortly. See you soon.